Hey guys, what's up? Darcy here at Six Strings Nine Lives, back for another ranking video. Today I'm going to take a look at all 14 studio albums from Raven, part of a new wave of British heavy metal formed way back in 1974 by the Gallagher brothers, Mark and John. Still going to this day, just one of those fun bands I listen to. Like I've said in past videos, not a band that's going to bring you album of the year most likely, but they're just one of those bands that just, to me, never disappoint. Just consistent, you know what you're getting, and they're known for that. They're known for having a lot of fun, a lot of energy on stage, and have throughout their whole career. Very influential to a lot of bands way back in the, in the late 70s, early 80s. They didn't start speed metal, they didn't start thrash, but there's elements of all of that in their music and just metal. And, you ask a lot of these bands, even bands like Metallica and, any Anthrax, bands like that will cite Raven as an influence to them. And a lot of them, they toured together. In fact, there was a tour way back in, I think, 1984 or 83, one or the other, where Raven took, a yet not well-known Metallica out on tour, and they had a tour called Kill 'Em All for One. That was the name of the tour, kind of combined, Metallica's debut and Raven's third album together and made that title. So anyways, we're going to take a little ride here we're going to take a hard ride. That's a song title. Any Raven fan shall pick up on that, but we're going to take a look at all 14 of these studio albums. It's a band where, if you are a fan of the band, you probably should know what's coming on number 14, and you might know number 1. But there's a lot in the middle that people, just one of those bands, they're like, oh, I only know a few albums, and I just never bothered to check them out. Kind of, even in the 90s, they kind of faded into obscurity on a couple albums, things like that. But their last couple albums have been really good, and I will recommend them as I go along. But there is one not great album. Actually, a couple aren't great, but we'll go through those. Use this. This is not any definitive list. There just isn't a lot on YouTube, pertaining to Raven, especially a ranking video. I don't even think there is one. So I thought I would do one. I was actually asked to do this. So let's start off with number 14 and their second album for Atlantic Records. This is coming in number 14, their 5th overall studio album. And like I said, second on Atlantic, and should be no surprise, but this is called The Pack Is Back. Pretty much not good. It is pretty much a pile of crap for the most part. Why do I own it? I'm a Raven fan. I'm going to own it. There's still, even the cover, it's so corny. I just have to have it anyways. But I did buy this brand new on release day back in the day, in 1986 on cassette tape. But this is an original copy on vinyl. Songs to check out. I do like the title track, The Pack Is Back. There's a lot of crap on here. Like I said, there's horns on here, solos that just don't even match the music. Good musicians, but way too much record company input on this. Got them to do a cover of Gimme Some Lovin'. Not necessary, not great. But I do like the title track, and I would also suggest, if you want to check out song called Rock Dogs. And this is with their drummer, Rob Wacko Hunter. And there's the Gallagher brothers here. Wacko is not in the band, hasn't been in the band for years, actually. Like I said, I'll try to mention, things like that. Favorite tracks, producers, different drummers. All right, coming in at number 13. This one is not a well-known Raven album. It did not get good distribution, especially in North America. This, at the time, if you would have bought this brand new, you probably would have been getting like an import type of thing. Coming in at number 13, their 9th overall studio album from 1994 is called Glow. And we got a little bit of a glare, not a glow, so I'll pull this out. You'll see there's a few albums here. They're not known for their awesome album artwork either. serviceable, but their last couple albums have really cool art, and I'll show you when we get there. There is a better shot of that. This was released on SPV. Mostly, I think it was mostly just a Japanese release in the beginning. I don't know why it didn't get worldwide distribution, but not one of my favorite albums for sure. Tracks to check out. Let's go. Track 2, Spite. Actually, if you're a Ramones fan, it kind of has a punky Ramones vibe opening riff. Pretty cool. The Dark Side, that is a good track to check out. And there is a cover of Thin Lizzy's The Rocker on here, which is, it's okay. Some of these cover songs are just not necessary, but it actually is a decent cover and actually makes this album a little bit better. So coming in at number 13, number 13 is their 9th overall studio album called Glow. Coming in at number 12, I was debating on this one and the next one, which I'd have a little bit higher. Other than that, everything else kind of fell into place. But this is their, there was a hiatus from 2000 till about 10-year hiatus, 1999 till 2009, where guitar player, I'm not sure exactly what year he was injured, guitar player Mark Gallagher was on around a construction site and a wall collapsed on his legs, really busting up his right leg very badly, almost to the point where they thought, possible amputation, things like that. Would he ever be able to walk? Would that leg function properly? He did recover, and they finally came back with this album. So this is my number 12, their 12th overall studio album. 2009's Walk Through Fire. So kind of a title that was a testament to what they went through for that 10-year period. They literally walked through fire, and a lot of things went on in their lives. And were they going to continue? And yes, they did. I'm glad they did. Tracks to check out on this one, I would say my favorite track on here is called Under Your Radar. The title track, Walk Through Fire, is very good. There is a cover of Montrose's Space Station Number 9 on here. And if you want to check out a track that was co-written by Andreas Kisser and the Cavalera brothers, check out the song called Attitude. Was co-written with the Gallagher brothers. So that's my number 12, A Walk Through Fire. And here is my first ever Raven album. So there is some sentimental, that's why I had this one notch higher. It's where they really, started that run of a couple of really commercial sounding albums. But here's my number 11. It's called Stay Hard from 1985. So this is their Atlantic Records debut. And at the time, Atlantic Records signed them and said, we're going to do this for you and this for you. And, get you on tour with this band. But we want you to do this too. You have to record this way. But there's some real positives on here. So this is produced by Michael Wagner, which that name in the metal, that especially lots of German metal. John and Marcia Zazula, his name is involved here too, because their previous album with them, the association with Megaforce Records. But anyways, tracks to check out. It's not all bad on here. There is a remake of one of their own songs called Hard Ride. The other couple highlights, I do like the title track. I know the lyrics are as corny as shit, but Stay Hard, Stay Wet, it's still fun. And the lead single and video for this song called On and On is really quite a good song to check out. But there is my number 11. Coming in at number 10 is their 10th overall studio album from 1997. Back in the 90s, where a lot of these bands were just not at the forefront. Grunge was, grunge early 90s, 97. Later in the 90s, we started to see, a little more people talking about metal again, stuff. But bands like Raven still plugging away with that. They're always dependable for an album. And, I always say I compare them to that blue collar work ethic. And anyways, here is my number 10, 10th overall studio album from 97 called Everything Louder. And there's the back, released on SPV Records. I would say check out the leadoff track of the album is called Blind Eye. Speedy, heavy, awesome. Sweet Jane, kind of actually doomy, a little bit of a doomy vibe on that one. What else we got? Insane. There's a song called Insane, heavy double bass throughout with their drummer at the time. What I was going to say, what's his name? Hazelvander. What's his first name now? We'll get to that. Anyways, losing my train of thought. And another song called Broken Glass. Definitely check that one out. So that is number 10. Number 9. So if you're familiar with, well, a lot of people are familiar with the Raven album called All for One. Well, I believe this one came out where I am in North America. I'm in Canada. I believe it came out in 2000. It could be 99 or 2000 on this one. So don't quote me on the exact year of this one, but it's one or the other. But in North America, I believe it was released in 2000. So this is my number 9 called One for All. So their other album was All for One, and this is flipped around a little bit. Rejoined again with producer Michael Wagner on this one too. And released on Metal Blade Records, the only one here in North America that was released on Metal Blade. Tracks to check out. Opening track 7 Shades is really good. Double Talk. Where's that one? Double Talk. Hard to read this. They got red on black here. And there's the back cover. There's a track on here. There's a lot of heavy fun. There's a lot of fun going on with Raven too. It's where's that track called? Derailed. Check that one out too. So coming in at number 9, their 11th overall studio album, One for All. And coming in at number 8 is their latest studio album from 2020 called Metal City. Here's the vinyl version. And I really do enjoy this cover. It really just sums up Raven, having a blast. There's a few little details on here, like 1974, if that'll focus. That's when they were formed. Lunatic Comic Group, the wildest band in the world. 2020 Raven. Here's the back cover. So, yeah, just a good, fun album from 2020, their latest. Hopefully they're working on... hopefully we have not seen the last of Raven, and I don't think we have, but... tracks to check out, Top of the Mountain, really enjoy that one, but my favorite track on this album is the title track called Metal City, and another favorite is called Not So Easy. So this is coming in at number 8, Metal City. Coming in at number 7 is their album that came out 5 years before that, and really probably one of their better album covers. You know, let's go with this one. So coming in at number 7 is their 13th studio album from 2015 called Extermination. Actually, I'm spinning some live at Elborg. This is from that tour of the Extermination tour. They were opening at the time. They were opening for Dirk Schneider when Udo went out and doing only classic Accept songs. So Raven was the opener. There's the artwork. There's the back cover. This one has a lot of cool tracks. Destroy All Monsters, great track. Check that one out. Tank Battle March, Tank Threads, The Blood Runs Red, awesome track. And one of my favorite tracks on here is called Thunder Down Under. And it is basically a tribute song to AC/DC's Bon Scott. I just think it's a real mixture of, it's got AC/DC vibes in the song mixed with Raven vibes, and it's just a good rockin' song. The lyrics are really cool. You know, if you're an AC/DC fan, you would pick up on that nice tribute to a legend, Bon Scott. But do check this one out too. So that is number 7. Coming in at number 7, 13th overall studio album. So where are we? Number 6. This is after they were dropped by Atlantic Records. They had a you know, they did refocus their last album on Atlantic Records, which is coming here. We'll talk about that one yet, but after they were dropped by Atlantic Records after 3 albums and an EP, they went over and got this one came out on Combat, I think, originally. But my number 6 is their 7th overall studio album called Nothing Exceeds Like Excess. I'm going to pull this one out so there's not much of a glare, but this is one of my favorite Raven covers. And they always very consistent with their logo. Every album has that logo. Even got some ravens battling in the background, got gold, jewelry, silver. Anyways, a good album, more of a refocused Raven after, a couple questionable albums with Atlantic Records. But let's check out some tracks here. Oh, Give Me a Break. That song is just typical fun Raven, fun lyrics. And the one thing I haven't mentioned, just great soloing throughout. Lots of, like, the bass, being a 3-piece, by the way, the drums and the bass are super important in this band for the bottom end, especially, in a live setting too. But there is even on these studio albums where there is no rhythm guitar. It's the bass and the drums do all the work while Mark is doing a guitar solo, and it just works. And what else can I recommend to you? Into the Jaws of Death. That's probably one of my favorite tracks on here for sure. Lay Down the Law, and another one would be Thunderlord. But yeah, there is my number 6. And coming in at number 5, let's go to number 5. So this one might be, I'm not going to say controversial, that's for sure, because again, just my opinion. And but I'd say these top 5 is where it's really at for me. So there isn't much separating these 5. So put it that way. I don't know if this one would surprise anybody, but my number 5 is their 2nd overall studio album from 1982 called Wiped Out. Actually, this isn't a bad cover. It's very basic, but it's just Raven. So, and this is one of those albums that is getting another reissue. I know there's some reissues on High Roller Records available right now, and there is some reissues coming out on Culture Factory, is another company that's doing some vinyl reissues. But great album, got lots of speed on here, a lot of fun. This one is a little better produced than their debut. Check out the song Faster Than the Speed of Light. Great opening track. Firepower. I love the song To the Limit, To the Top. Awesome. And even the last track on here called Chainsaw. A lot of great tracks on here, actually. You can't go wrong with this album. So this is my number 5 from 1982, Wiped Out. And here, number 4 is, to me, is a really, probably the heaviest album Raven's done, the most underrated, not talked about enough. But here is my number 4, their 8th overall studio album from 1991 called Architect of Fear. So, you diehard Raven fans, you'll know what I'm saying here as far as how good of an album this is. Very well produced. And the album that came after this was my number 13 called Glow, and real step down from this one. This one is just heavy, speedy, great lyrics, great soloing, everything. There's a better shot of that cover. What do we got for tracks here to tell you about? The title track, the opening track, and I wrote some down because here's the font on the back of here. You almost need a magnifying glass, so I did write down a couple favorite tracks. Got the Devil, Under Your Skin, awesome song. There is a song called Relentless. It's just fast and heavy. What else? Yeah, and like I said, one of their heaviest albums. If you've not checked out this Raven album and only know their earlier work, do check this one out. You won't be sorry on this one. There's my number 4, Architect of Fear from 1991. Number 3, and their last studio album on Atlantic Records, and just a basic, you know, at the time it was basically a big, well, there actually was an EP before this, which I do have. I should show you that. This one came out the same year as, this is called Mad. This is an EP, and it's awesome. It came out the same year as The Pack is Back, and basically this thing was like Damage Control and a basic, you know, a big FU to the record company. We need to focus on what we're good at and regroup. And this is an awesome 5-song EP. And then their studio album to come out after that, My Number 3 from 1987. And unfortunately, they're last on Atlantic Records, but this is a fantastic album. This is called Life's a Bitch. And like I said, after this, they were dropped by Atlantic Records. But if you've not checked this one out of those Atlantic years, highly recommend this and that Mad EP. What's there? Probably 10 songs on here, 5 on there, 15 really good Raven tracks. There is the track listing. So yeah, Life's a Bitch, Then You Die. This one has, to me, it has a real Priest vibe in areas. Just the guitars. You would think there was dual guitars going at all, you know, at all times on this one. A little more, I'm not going to say serious because they're still Raven. They're having fun on every album, but check out the opening track, The Savage and the Hungry. Another favorite track of mine is called Pick Your Window. Iron League, definitely check that one out too. Fuel to the Fire. Literally, there's not a bad track on here, and I'm being honest with you. Check this one out, My Number 3, Life's a Bitch, which brings us to 2 more, and you should be able to guess these. But My Number 2 is their first overall album, and just a pile of fun. I love the production. I mean, you can hear them talking before tracks, and it's just get in the studio and record. Some of this, I don't know how much of the early work was just recorded live in the studio where everybody's in one room, but there definitely a lot on this album. Here's My Number 2, Rock Until You Drop from 1981, first overall studio album from Raven. And judging by the album cover, they were having a lot of fun back then too. Tracks to recommend, just almost anything on here. Hard Ride, which is the song they redid on Stay Hard. Hell Patrol, great song, Don't Need Your Money. Rock Until You Drop, the title track. There is a cover on here. Actually, it's like a split cover. Hellraiser Action, which is a cover of Sweet, I think the band Sweet. Track 10, which is actually, it's an awesome track called Lambs to the Slaughter. That one's been covered by Creator, I think quite a few years ago too, but like I said, they're a highly influential band to, you know, even bands like Creator too. So there's my number 2, Rock Until You Drop. Leaving 1, and as I started off saying in the first part of the video, you should be able to guess number 14 and number 1, but this should be no surprise. This is my favorite Raven album, their third overall studio album from 1983, called All for One. Basic cover, but you know, it's kind of legendary. It is to me and a lot of Raven fans, and a lot of fans of you know, a lot of other musicians look to this album as one of their big influences too. There's the old start of the hockey helmet with Rob Wacko Hunter, and tracks to recommend. Oh yeah, that Take Control. This one literally takes control from right from the start. Mind Over Metal. All for One, the title track. Run Silent, Run Deep. Very good song. And Break the Chain. I think that was the lead single for this album. Awesome track. Seek and Destroy, their own version, not Metallica version. And the track 10 that wraps up this album is called Athletic Rock, which kind of was a phrase that was associated with the band back in the day. But there's my number 1. Like I said, use this as a bit of a guideline if you want to dig deeper into the Raven catalog. Just a band, like I said, just fun. Really enjoy listening to these guys, and you know, hope they continue. So hope you enjoyed that, and until next time, stay heavy.